This is the house that Connie and Sebastian bought. Their dream home. They're so thrilled to finally own their own house. They have lots of ideas of what to do with their new house, including having a basement apartment to help pay the mortgage. Now the bills have piled up and they've bit off more than they can chew. Boy, do they need help. Renovating your first home is difficult. I should know. I transform houses into income properties for a living.
Hi.
Connie and Sebastian bought their first home for $449,000. They hope to rent out the basement to offset the mortgage. It's $2,200 a month. But they got completely sidetracked by their big plans for the top floors. I'm here to see what can be done to get them back on track. Why don't you guys give me the tour?
We should start with the history, because this house has a history.
Let's hear it.
This house was 4 apartments when we moved in.
Kitchen and bathroom on every floor.
Yeah.
So when we got it, our idea was to turn the first, second, and third floor back into a house. And the basement being finished was the primary reason why we bought this place.
Yeah.
So you guys kind of do the reverse of what I do. I take houses and turn them into rental properties, and you take houses and turn them into homes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
We're not going to get along very well.
Well, let's check out the upstairs. Oh my God.
Yeah, this is a working kitchen.
So you guys are living up here, working on the main floor, and the basement's kind of just abandoned at the moment, I'm assuming.
Yeah, for the most part.
It looks like
Our bachelor.
Is that where you guys are sleeping now?
Yeah. Until our bedroom's ready on the second floor, this is where we're going to be.
How's the mortgage? Is it a lot?
I mean, we're getting by.
Yeah.
We're doing it, but, we do need something extra.
What's the first thing we need to do?
Rent the basement.
Rent the basement?
That's the first thing.
Yeah, that's probably the smartest idea. Let's just check out the basement.
Okay. This is a gasp of horror.
This is disaster. This is a big problem. If we're to do anything, this is where it would have to start. This is all rotted out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is your separate entrance. Wow. Your ceiling's too low.
Oh, listen to that sound.
Oh, sorry about that. This drywall, without even pulling it down, I can see that it's very thin. You need to have 5/8 drywall, which creates a fire barrier between the 2 apartments. And I'll tell you, this is definitely not 5/8 drywall. This whole bulkhead here is too low. This wouldn't pass inspection. This is how many kitchens now? 4?
Yeah. This is
Yeah, nothing's pinned down properly. Again, you're not giving somebody a reasonable space to live in. This is a weird little get-up. I see the idea. Shared laundry, right? Everybody can use the laundry.
Exactly.
Not the most optimal setup, for sure. Is there a dead animal in here anywhere?
And close to the bodies we
Come on,
buried.
Scott. Away from the closet.
You've got a drain down here. This is disgusting.
What is it? Why is this here?
It's an old floor drain.
I don't think we should be near it.
No, you guys should plug this off. We should get a towel in here for now, because I can't even deal with the smell. You got the air all coming out of the sewers right into your basement.
Wow.
You've obviously got yourselves a little bit in over your head. You got a lot of renovations going on. Every floor seems to be under renovation, and your money's going to run out in a project like this. I do have the floor plans. I've got some measurements. I'm going to take everything with me back to the office, mull it over, and come up with the best plan.
Okay.
Connie and Sebastian definitely have their work cut out for them. They need help with the mortgage, and they need help getting the basement suitable and safe for a tenant. After reviewing your financial situation, I've discovered that your $2,200 a month mortgage payment is consuming half of your monthly income. At that rate, you're going to end up being house poor. So I've come up with a couple options to start bringing some money back into your house. Option number one is to turn your basement into a one-bedroom legal apartment. This means gutting the entire apartment, removing all the walls, the floors. That kitchen's unacceptable. We're going to create a fire barrier using fire-rated drywall. Another thing I'd like to do over here is use some of this valuable real estate that's being consumed for the laundry room and recess the fridge on this side. That'll give us more counter space in the kitchen.
Wow, it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. It's a major reno in your basement. It's going to cost about $20,000, but it'll bring in about $1,000 a month in rent, which means in less than 2 years, you'll have repaid your original investment, and your mortgage payments will be down to $1,200 a month.
That sounds great.
That sounds great. Well, I've come up with a second option, and if this were my home, this is what I would do. Option number two, I would incorporate the main floor and the basement into the rental suite, which means that the two of you will be living on the second and third floor of the home. The front entrance becomes a shared entrance. You continue upstairs to your apartment. The tenant enters on the main floor, where we will open up the entire back half of the house into an open living room, dining room, kitchen, and a bedroom. Now their apartment continues downstairs, where we now have 2 generous bedrooms, now creating a 3-bedroom rental unit. The renovation here is much more extensive, and you're looking at approximately $50,000 investment, but the rental income on this would be about $2,200 a month, which means after you repay your initial investment, you're living entirely mortgage-free. Your tenants are paying your entire mortgage. Imagine the freedom of that.
Oh my God. Yeah. I hadn't even thought of this as an option.
It's kind of a wild card. I
Yeah.
mean, when we bought the place, we thought we'd just rent out the basement, but we didn't really consider the fact that living mortgage-free was an option for us. So
You have a very rare opportunity here.
How much? 50?
$50,000. So, option number one is to turn your basement into a 1-bedroom legal apartment. It's going to cost about $20,000, but it'll bring in about $1,000 a month. Option number two, incorporating the first floor and the basement into the rental suite. The price tag on this renovation is $50,000, but the tenants pay the entire mortgage, where you can still live in half the home. So what is your final decision?
it's conflicting because
It is.
the idea of living mortgage-free is so seductive.
It's sweet,
Yeah.
but not like we'd be sacrificing the first floor as well. So it's the money, it's the first floor, which also means a backyard, right?
And when we bought this house, we bought it because
To
we
rent
could
the
rent
basement.
the basement, which paying half the mortgage already is such a sweet deal. I mean, $1,200 a month is amazing for a 5-bedroom house.
Sounds like you guys have made a choice.
Yeah, I think the option one is the way to go.
It's still a great option. You're going to cut your mortgage almost in half. You're going to need $1,000 a month in rent for a basement you're not even using anyway.
It's great.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're
it's
going to get
exciting.
started right away.
Yeah, no, it's really great. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Connie and Sebastian's basement has good bones, but it is in no shape for a tenant. We are going to have to gut the whole thing to bring it up to code. In the living room, I'd like to recess the pot lights and slimline the ductwork. That's going to give us maximum ceiling height. The smelly carpets come out, and we're going to put in all new laminate flooring. Now, the kitchen is valuable real estate. In here, I'd like to push back the laundry room wall, and I'm also going to recess the fridge on this side. Now I've got room for big base cabinets, a lot of counter space, and then I'm going to put in some clever open shelving. Now, this is going to be a massive renovation. Connie and Sebastian picked option 1, a one-bedroom basement apartment they can rent out for $1,000 a month. That's going to cut their mortgage payment almost in half. Well worth their $20,000 investment. Joey, we should start with this bulkhead. We're going to take it down, and then we're going to peel all the drywall off the entire ceiling. That's a house. Bringing this apartment up to code sounds simple enough. But this house is a 100-year-old Victorian, and by the looks of it, we're in for 100 problems.
Yes. Oh.
The hole is cracked. Careful.
Is it live?
Oh, dude.
Live. Oh, jeez. We got a bit of a mold issue.
Holy.
We gotta take that drywall off. It's a little worse than I thought.
How bad are we talking here?
Well, it's all kind of half-assed. Everything's been half-assed. These need to be up higher, because if some guy's screwing in the drywall, he's going to screw right into your wires. There's electrical boxes hidden in all the ceilings.
Like, isn't that extremely dangerous?
What's melted?
It's the old tape. Look at all these holes in the ductwork. They're probably getting no heat to your attic.
That sounds about right.
It's freezing up
So,
there.
people don't know how much work is involved in getting this thing legal and prepared and safe for you guys, too. You're living here. You're going to save more money in utilities than it's going to cost you to do this renovation.
Yeah.
No, you won't.
Well,
Over time.
If you're living here for 20 years.
eventually, yeah.
You get the carpets out here then? This old house is like an onion. Nothing but layers. And the more layers we peel back, the more problems we find. It's a plumbing nightmare, an electrical nightmare. There is a monstrous amount of work to get done on this house. The electrical inspectors are here, and there is no way this apartment's going to pass inspection. You have some live wires. These wires should have been moreted. There's many issues here that we need to address. So we've pretty much finished gutting the place. Well, I have a few concerns, and I want to run them by you before we go any further. You guys have so much electrical running down here, and it's been chopped up, and there's exposed junction boxes, and it's been illegally wired. I've brought in my licensed electrician, and he's giving me a quote around $1,800 beyond what we thought.
What?
$1,800?
$1,800. This is affecting your whole house. This is an issue. This is a fire hazard for your whole house.
Wow.
You know, with any renovation, we open the ceiling, and what do we get? It's surprise, surprise, surprise.
Wow, what a surprise. Not good. Not good.
Brought in my licensed electrician, and he's giving me a quote around $1,800 beyond what we thought.
What?
$1,800?
$1,800. This is a fire hazard for your whole house. It has to be done.
1,800?
Yeah. Well, we gotta talk about it. What it comes down to is another $1,500, $1,800, whatever.
From where? Like, is it supposed to fall from the sky?
I know.
Like,
Well,
Guys look really upset.
is this that you know, want to make sure 100%?
The surprise is you open anything and you find 10 things.
yeah.
But you're lucky. Everything we found, we can fix.
It makes us super lean right now, but we will be renting that basement out over the next couple of months. So within the next 2 months, let's say, then that comes back in.
Gotta do it.
I mean, it has to be done. We don't have a choice.
What's the cost of being able to sleep at night, too? You're sitting there in your sleep like, oh, I hope there's no fire tonight. Oh, I remember all that melted wire. I remember all that melted tape.
Well, I'm glad we didn't know about that when we first moved in here, because otherwise it would have been keeping us up every night thinking about that stuff.
Well, we have the whole thing under control. And when we're done, everything will be done safely.
Right?
So, money well spent. I know that the extra expenses are hard for Connie and Sebastian, but their safety is priceless. And once they rent the basement, first and last month's rent will immediately recoup this money. So how'd we do?
Yeah, this is a big difference from what I saw before. We have a lot of problems with this house. What we found here is we found actually live wires, not in junction boxes, totally exposed to the walls. You don't know how long before you had a fire at this location. The wiring was that bad.
That's what I thought. Am I good to close up the ceiling now?
The wires look good. You got insulated boxes in place.
Yeah. We even put a brand new panel in with all the proper breakers.
Everything I see here is up to code. And as far as I'm concerned, you can go ahead and drywall.
Perfect. That's what I wanted to hear. Hey, this is what I wanted to see. What's up? Let me show you what we're up to. In here, your old floor drain has been moved into the furnace room.
Okay.
There'll be no more smell. There'll be no more health hazard. It's clean. It's tidy. It smells fresh.
Awesome.
Okay. Number 2, you notice we're drywalling the ceiling. I had the ESA come in this morning. They cleared us on the electrical work. Your whole house has been rewired, and now we don't have any fire hazard. It was really a major safety problem. They're still working on the separate entrance here. Okay. They're pouring the stairs in stages.
I don't even recognize what's going on back there.
Oh, I know, it's unbelievable. Your whole backyard's gone. So this is where we stand. We've obviously finished gutting. We've rectified all the issues we ran into. The bad news is there was too many problems to ignore, and we had to go above and beyond what we originally anticipated. This renovation ended up costing more than I quoted you.
So how much more?
We're going to hit 25% over budget, at least, to fix all the problems that carry through to the rest of the house.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of problems.
If we had known what was going to be in store for us by doing this job, would we have bought this house, with all the extra stuff?
Yeah.
Now, we did know it was a bit of a fixer-upper, but that was a lot more than we bargained for.
It's just shocking, and it worries me because, I don't know where this money is going to come from.
There's payback in the long term, and in the immediate term, we have the comfort of knowing that our electrical's right, our heating is right. Like, those things will add up over the long term. this is the growing pains of the beginnings of being new homeowners.
I'm not ready to be an adult.
There was too many problems to ignore. This renovation ended up costing 25% over budget, at least, to fix all the problems that carry through to the rest of the house.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of problems.
So much for our $500 Band-Aid solution we had originally planned for this place. But knowing what we know now, this had to be done.
But when you guys look back on it, you're going to know so much more about your house. You're going to feel safe about your house. You're going to know what the real value of your house is. And the great news is that it is going to be a fantastic apartment, and you're going to be making money off of it very shortly. Then it's an income property. The renovation overage hit them hard, but the outcome is exceptional. Together, we have created a fantastic income suite.
The amount that we've learned in such a short amount of time is huge, and there's really no other way to learn it but to go through the experience. You can read as many books as you want. You have to experience it.
Whatever you think you're getting into, double it, triple it. Just triple it.
And financially.
As well. I think those are the huge lessons.
A good rule that I always use is the cost of a renovation has to be able to pay itself back within 2 years of rent. So if you're renting for $1,000 a month, you want to make sure your renovation doesn't go over $24,000. And I think they're close to the 2-year return here.
Hey!
What the hell did you
Whoa! Nice door.
It's very inviting versus what was collapsing before.
Solid walls. Yeah! No! What? Oh my god! That's crazy! What?
I don't recognize it.
Well, walk in.
Oh my god!
Is this what you guys were looking for?
This is above and beyond what we were looking for. This is amazing. It's like not even a basement. Like I feel like I'm up on maybe an apartment.
That's the whole idea. Come and check it out. Come and check it out.
Oh wow!
Lots of counter
Oh
space
my
now.
god, it's huge!
Is this an
is
amazing kitchen?
Enormous! I can't believe this. I cannot believe my eyes. I am just speechless.
I get like
What can I say?
the
Wow.
slight shock thing going on.
What?
We wanted to keep laundry for the tenants because that's a big selling feature, right? So we gave them a laundry room.
Incredible. It's perfect. It's tucked away.
What do you think about the French doors?
Love them. They're fantastic.
Bingo.
What the? What?
Nice bedroom, isn't it?
What the?
Doesn't it look good? Don't you want to sleep down here? Come on, there's a nice window. The stink hole gone. We moved the drain to the furnace room. The only thing you can smell down here now is money.
Yeah, really.
Rental
What's that
money.
smell like?
Yeah, that's the smell of checks to the bank.
Yeah.
So I know you guys saw me wandering around the house a little earlier with a guy. I called up a local appraiser. He's like the guru of your area. And based on his inspection of the place, he figures that this basement apartment adds a value of about $100,000 to your house.
No surprise. Well, I'm
I'm totally surprised.
surprised, but it's so great down here. Like, of course, like that makes sense.
I didn't think 100.
This will be up to you guys.
Oh yeah.
Your keys. You guys were an awesome couple, and you deserve it. And I think you guys are going to reap huge rewards from having this in your house.
I think so too.
You sort of dropped the bomb the other day. You told us you're pregnant. Everyone were like, we have got to get this finished. Now, they need to start making money in the basement and get their life on track upstairs. So your basement's done. Now you got to post it for rent. When you list it, you want to say legal apartment, right? Fully renovated, parking, separate entrance, large windows,